Hey everyone, ready to dive into some seriously fascinating stuff? We're talking leadership today,
We are.
like really digging into it.
Yeah.
You guys sent us some incredible excerpts from this book, The 100 Most Influential World Leaders of All Time. And I gotta say,
It's quite a collection.
it's really got me thinking.
Yeah, it's amazing to consider.
It's like we're talking about the people who shaped civilizations,
That's it.
the ones who sparked revolutions, built empires, changed the game entirely.
For better or worse, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to unpack today. What made these leaders tick? What can we learn from their wins, their losses, even the things that just make you scratch your head and say, what were they thinking?
Well, and what's so cool is this book doesn't just focus on, emperors and generals.
Right.
It digs into all the different ways leadership shows up. We've got spiritual figures like Moses
Oh, wow.
leading the Israelites to freedom.
Talk about a story that just sticks with you, right?
It really does.
It makes you think about the power of belief, that deep down yearning for something bigger than yourself.
And Moses wasn't just a leader in the traditional sense. He was a beacon of hope, a lawgiver, someone believed to be directly connected to the divine. It's incredible how the book highlights that for many, his authority wasn't about military might.
Right.
It came from that profound spiritual connection he had with his people.
It's such a contrast, when you think about someone like Confucius,
Oh, totally.
living in this time of total chaos in China,
Yeah,
never actually ruled a kingdom, but his teachings
his teachings.
on ethics,
Mhm.
on good governance, man, they became the bedrock of Chinese society.
He got it.
Yeah.
He understood that lasting change often starts with individual growth. Confucius was all about education, respect for elders, understanding your place in the grand scheme of things,
It's like
the ripple effect.
it's like different flavors of leadership
Right.
for different situations. But, okay, speaking of different, can we talk about Alexander the Great? This guy was out there conquering the world before most people even have their first existential crisis.
I mean, talk about ambition. The book details how in just over a decade, Alexander built an empire that stretched from Greece all the way to India.
I can't even fathom that, like the logistics alone.
It's mind-boggling.
But here's the thing. Alexander wasn't just about brute force. The book emphasizes that he combined military genius with strategic thinking, logistics, even a kind of early cultural integration.
Fascinating.
He understood that to really conquer, you had to win hearts and minds as well as territory.
It's that big picture thinking,
Yeah,
It's what separates the truly great leaders from those who are just powerful.
absolutely.
And of course, ambition,
Oh, yeah,
as Alexander shows us, can be a double-edged sword.
totally. And when I think about that, I immediately think about Julius Caesar
Oh, interesting.
because he came to power during this incredibly unstable time in Roman history.
Right.
But his victories in Gaul, legendary.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, vidi, vidi, vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. Talk about confidence.
Light chuckle. That's one for the history books.
It's amazing.
Caesar's story, it's a cautionary tale too, isn't it?
Yeah.
The book doesn't shy away from how his ambition, his drive for power, ultimately led to civil war and the downfall of the Roman Republic.
Which is pretty sobering thought when you consider that even the most incredible leaders, they're still products of their time,
Right.
shaped by the same things that shape everyone else.
That's it.
It also shows us that individuals, they have this power to change history,
Absolutely.
for good or for bad.
But even with all that, some leaders,
Yeah,
they seem to transcend their time,
they do.
and leave a mark that echoes through centuries.
Totally.
And take Jesus, for example.
Right.
Talk about influence.
It's interesting how the book presents him,
Yeah.
not just as this religious figure,
Right.
but as a leader whose message, love, compassion, forgiveness,
Yeah.
it really did send shockwaves through history.
That's it.
It shaped Western civilization in ways we still feel today.
And his teachings, they were revolutionary for their time.
Oh, for sure.
Such a departure from the norm.
Right.
He connected with everyday people, offered hope,
Yeah.
challenged the powers that be.
And he did it without armies or empires.
He did.
But his message,
It's incredible.
it inspired movements,
It
shaped political thought for centuries.
Yeah.
It's wild how one person's ideas
It really is.
can have that kind of impact,
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of impact, Constantine the Great,
Oh, yeah.
the Roman emperor who embraced Christianity,
Right.
he really blew the doors wide open, didn't he?
He did. His conversion, as the book explains, transformed the Roman Empire, made Christianity its official religion,
Wow.
and by establishing Constantinople,
Right.
this new capital in the East,
Talk about a power move.
it really was.
Shifted the whole balance of power.
It did.
Paved the way for the Byzantine Empire.
Exactly.
But, not all powerful leaders
Yeah.
leave legacies that last, do they?
That's true.
Like take Attila the Hun.
Okay.
Commanded respect.
And fear.
And fear, for sure.
Yeah.
Built his empire through brutal conquests.
Right.
But it was all temporary.
It was.
The book makes that so clear.
It does.
Attila's empire crumbled shortly after he died.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It really does.
If fear alone can't sustain power,
Right.
what can?
What can? Exactly.
What about leaders whose influence lasted for generations?
Right.
Take Muhammad, for instance.
Okay.
The book really gets into how he rose from such humble beginnings to unite the Arabian Peninsula under Islam.
That's right.
And it's a testament to the power of ideas.
Absolutely.
He wasn't born into royalty.
No.
He was a merchant
Yeah.
in Mecca.
It's easy to forget that
It is.
when you think about the impact he had.
Exactly. But his message, monotheism, social justice, it resonated with people.
It did.
Who were desperate for something new.
For sure.
A new spiritual and political reality.
Absolutely.
And the book really emphasizes how he wasn't just a spiritual leader.
Right.
He was a skilled politician and military strategist.
Yeah.
He united warring Arab tribes,
Yeah.
established a new legal code,
Wow.
laid the groundwork for an empire that would span continents.
That's incredible.
Talk about a multifaceted leader.
Truly.
And his legacy, it still shapes the lives of billions of people today,
It does.
reminding us that one person,
Yeah.
driven by their convictions and a clear vision,
Powerful.
can truly change the course of history.
For sure.
And speaking of shaping history, we have Charlemagne,
Charlemagne.
crowned Holy Roman Emperor in the year 800.
Okay, so tell me about him.
This is a fascinating case study.
Okay.
Sounds like he was the original Renaissance man.
Really?
Centuries before the Renaissance even happened.
Wow.
Rebuilding Europe after a period of decline,
Mm-hmm.
fostering a resurgence of art and learning,
No kidding.
standardizing legal systems.
It's like ambition.
Talked about ambition.
It's incredible.
He understood that true power came from more than just military strength.
Oh.
He poured resources into education,
Yeah.
established schools,
Wow.
championed literacy.
Like he knew education was key.
He understood that a thriving culture, a vibrant intellectual landscape were crucial to building a strong and stable empire.
He really does sound ahead of his time.
It was.
But even his empire eventually crumbled, right?
It did.
Proving that even the best leaders
Yeah.
are at the mercy of history.
That's it. It's a humbling thought, isn't it?
It is.
Empires rise.
They do.
They fall.
Yep.
Power shifts.
It does.
And even the most influential people,
Yeah.
they have to grapple with forces beyond their control.
It's true.
But their stories, they still captivate us.
They do.
Offering these invaluable lessons
Yeah.
about leadership,
About ambition.
the complexities of human nature.
They really remind us that history is made up of individuals
Yeah.
making choices,
Yes.
facing challenges,
That's it.
leaving their mark.
Exactly.
And, it's not always about the ones on the battlefield, right?
Right.
The book also talks about leaders like Coperbin II.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't out there leading armies,
No.
but his call for the First Crusade back in 1095,
Mm-hmm.
that sparked a movement that crossed continents.
It did. It's a powerful example
It really is.
of how powerful words can be.
Absolutely.
How a single speech, if it's delivered with enough conviction, can unleash forces that resonate for generations.
It's true.
The book really captures the intensity of the Crusades.
It does.
That mix of religious zeal, political ambition, economic motivations.
Yeah, and it's a reminder
It is.
that even when you're driven by faith,
Mm.
driven by your convictions, your actions can have consequences you never intended,
Oh, absolutely.
shaping relationships between cultures and religions for centuries to come.
It speaks to the weight of leadership, doesn't it?
It really does.
That responsibility to really think about the long-term impact of what we do. Especially when we believe we're doing the right thing.
For sure.
And it reminds us that leadership It can show up in the most unexpected places.
Oh, absolutely. Like, think about Saladin.
Oh, Saladin. Yeah.
The book portrays him as this incredible military leader,
He was.
challenging the Crusaders,
That's right.
recapturing Jerusalem in 1187.
It's a fascinating story.
It is.
He embodies those complexities of leadership.
Yeah.
Brilliant strategist, devout Muslim, but
No.
also a pragmatist.
Yes.
Someone who understood the importance of diplomacy,
Yeah.
compromise, even in the middle of a war.
You know, it's inspiring to see those examples
I
of
love that.
leaders who, even with all that chaos,
Yeah,
they can find common ground.
they can.
They build bridges instead of burning them.
Important reminder.
It gives you hope, you know? Like, even in the darkest times, human connection, empathy, it can still win out.
I love that.
It's powerful.
It is.
And speaking of navigating tough situations,
Oh, yeah.
the book talks about Queen Elizabeth the...
What a figure.
I know. Here you have this woman leading a nation,
That's right.
facing threats from all sides,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with religious divisions at home.
Yep.
And yet, she ushered in a golden age for England.
She did.
She's a total trailblazer.
Absolutely.
The book really highlights how intelligent she was,
Yes.
how politically savvy,
And strong.
so strong.
Especially in a world dominated by men.
Right.
It's remarkable.
Under her rule, England thrived.
It did.
They expanded globally.
That's right.
Arts and literature flourished.
The Elizabethan era.
It's iconic.
It really is.
And it's all thanks to her leadership,
To her vision.
her ability to inspire, to unite, to put England on the map.
She was remarkable.
You know, it's amazing to me how much these stories tell us.
I know.
Not just about leadership, but about history itself.
It's true.
It's like we're looking through a kaleidoscope.
Oh, I like that.
Every turn shows you a new pattern,
It does.
a new way of understanding the forces that have shaped our world.
It's been a real pleasure, digging into these stories with you.
Likewise.
And if there's one thing I hope you take away from all this,
What's that?
it's that leadership, it's not one size fits all.
It's not.
It comes in so many forms.
It really does.
Driven by all sorts of motivations.
Yeah.
It can spark amazing progress,
You can.
but it can also lead to destruction.
That's the thing about power, right? So as you continue to explore these amazing leaders, think about this. What will your leadership story be? What mark will you leave on the world? Keep those questions in mind, keep learning, and until next time, happy deep diving.